wife states that she would like to take freeway on-ramps as quickly as possible without regard for anyone's safety, and that I should do something about that because her current suspension is a little too soft. Well, it is an M Sport, but it has 160,000 miles, I said, so don't be ungrateful. Then I got slapped. After that, she said, make it happen, but we can't really afford the BMW M Sport suspension from BMW, so the next best thing is to put a suspension package together that's as close as possible to that. I did some research. We're gonna be installing Bilstein shocks and ABAC Pro Kit springs. These are not lowering springs, so the height should be the same, which is what she wants. She likes her current ride height. She doesn't want it lower or higher than this. Currently, it sits at 13 inches from the middle of the wheel to the bottom of the fender here. 13 inches, and shouldn't be too hard. So let's get started. I took the strut all apart because I just wanted to see how bad it was. The bump stop is on its way to being absolutely destroyed. The shock, I believe, is the original, and just look at this. It is Dunsky. Compression is gone. If it is the original, it has 160,000 miles on it. Also, the top hat is dry. It was probably gonna fail soon. The replacements. Bilstein shock, ABAC spring, and then every little bit that it takes to build a new shock from scratch, reusing that, and the base where the top hat goes on. I'll just clean it up. The front of the car is done, and I really like how it turned out. I will be showing you that later on because first I'm gonna have to wash the car. But anyway, moving on to the rear of the car, the suspension in the rear is easier than the front because there is no strut configuration. The shock and the spring actually live separate. No need for special tools or anything. So yeah, I'm gonna get cracking on the rear. First I have to get is there so much garbage in the trunk? Is this just, am I just a clean freak, or is this wrong in every... Does your girlfriend or wife, does her car look like this? If so, please leave a comment down below so that I can show my wife that it's not right and it should be dealt with immediately. Why is this so messy? What? Alrighty then, here we have the rear suspension. Here is the spring, the bottom stop for it, the top stop, which are basically just rubber caps for the spring. Then you have the old and the new. I kind of gave you an exploded view. This is everything that would go here, but I'm gonna show you kind of what the strut looks like. You have that, a bushing, you have a rubber cap, you have another bushing, you have a metal sleeve, you have a metal cap, you have your bump stop with the dust shield, and then finally you have the strut. Now here's the problem with the strut. It was actually not too bad until you get to bottom, and then it stays there. So I'm gonna put everything back together. Here we go. It's been about a month since I replaced the suspension on the wife's 128i M Sport. And what do I get? She thinks it's great, but it could be better. So let me explain. In her mind, she actually thought it was gonna come out to be firmer than it is. And not gonna lie to you guys, I thought so too. I thought it was gonna be a lot firmer than it is, but but I'm kind of glad that it's not, because I know my wife and she wouldn't be okay driving a harsh ride like that on a day-to-day basis. She loves how soft it still is. She just wishes there wasn't as much body roll, you know, when she takes a hard turn, or the car didn't squat that much when she accelerates or brakes heavily. And I told her that, you know, for that she needs to get a lot stiffer suspension that she might not be okay with. You know, she needs to be closer to that M3 range, and she might not be okay with that. So for now, this is fine for her daily car. Rebound and of course compression are a lot better. And yes, the car does feel tighter overall. It feels tighter on the twisties. It just responds better. It's more communication. The car is more communication. So the question is, did the car actually get any taller or any lower than it used to be? Did it get higher or lower? I think just by looking at it that it's actually higher than it used to be, simply because it's brand new suspension, but I haven't measured it yet. So what I want to do with you guys right now is pull out the good old measuring tape and answer that question. Let's figure it out. From the center of the roundel to the fender there, we are looking at a hair under 13 inches. That's for the front. And on the back, we have just a hair over 13 inches. So theoretically speaking, if I wanted to get the wife a suspension that was just a notch above this in stiffness, what would you guys suggest? What do you have on your 128i? How do you like it? Is it livable day to day? Especially like us, if you have a kid in a car seat. We don't want it to realign her spine every time we go over a pothole. Please leave it down below, let me know, so that I can do some research and maybe I'll replace the suspension again for her. Of course, in between now and then, I'm going to address things like the sway bar, bushings, and maybe some strut bars, anything I can do to make the car stiffer. But if push comes to shove, and over the next few months, she really doesn't like this or grows bored of how it feels, then we'll be looking at new suspension all over again. It's one of those things, projects never end. But thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, consider subscribing. And until next time, I will see you on the next video.